Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. I'm grateful the invitation to be here, although it was a little unexpected because I may in fact be the only homosexual in. Oh no, I'm not. Okay, sorry. I'm not going to out anyone, but this is certainly what you might call a heteronormative conversation. I have for many years been in the habit of cautioning my fellow homosexuals, male and female, that we need to be very careful about weighing in on the tensions between men and women, the heterosexuals of the species. Taking a sort of a not my circus, not my monkeys perspective on the whole thing, because we're not heterosexual, and there are subtexts and subcurrents that we're just simply not privy to. And I think most gay men have taken a similar view, for better or for worse. Many gay women have not, and have actually been quite active in that conversation. And I've had that talk with many of them, and I've said, you know, I really just don't really think you have that as much as you think you have to bring to that dialogue. So that's been kind of historically my take on the conversation that you're having, and that has been ongoing. But some years ago, and in trying to think where my growing awareness of this conversation began, I began to understand the really, really strong element of misandry in our culture. And I guess at first, the penny first dropped in like pop culture. Cartoons, things as innocuous as somehow, and when Jackie Gleason goes to the moon, Alice, that's a really offensive, misogynistic, blah, blah, blah. Whereas if Martha Hoople waves and threatens the major with her rolling pin, I'm sorry, that's a very old reference, but nonetheless, the wife is threatening the husband with physical violence, that's just a punchline. And I began to realize that this sort of hypocrisy, let's call it what it is tightly interwoven with all of our popular culture. I don't watch much television anymore, but when I do, I'm still always struck by, you know, the family comedy situations where, you know, dad is always a bumbling, incompetent, inept idiot. And mom and the kids just barely put up with him. And mom is the hero and the champion and the, you know. Well, I grew up in the 50s, which was a pretty kind of a conservative period. And that's certainly not what my upbringing was like and not what my experience was. And I don't see what we're being fed in pop culture. I don't see that reflected in the lives of young families that I am part of and friends with today, young people who are raising children. That's not the family dynamic. And yet that's what popular culture is putting out. So, you know, that increased my awareness, and then I started doing some reading. I had for many years I owned a metaphysical bookstore here in Gastown called the Arcanum, and so I had quite an interest in metaphysics, religion, mysticism, and so on. So I picked up a book called now I can't even remember. You've given me the signal. Anyway, it was about the misandry that is in the feminist theories about the ancient matriarchies and the spiritual matriarchies. And I've done some more. I'm just reading a book now called The War Against Boys, which many of you are probably familiar with. And again, I still think, well, okay, this is really interesting and important, but not my circus, not my monkeys. Until I read about this, and my friend and colleague, Nathaniel Christopher, suggested that I might want to participate in this, and I thought, this conversation is going on not just here, but in the wider world. there is if you want, a reinventing or redefining of masculinity. And my bottom line thought was that if gay men's voices aren't heard in this conversation, there's a great danger that we may once again find ourselves in a new definition of masculinity, being as marginalized as we were in the old. And so that's basically why I'm here today. I'm here to listen and learn and interject that voice where it seems appropriate.